Actually, in my interview for Infinity, I wrote handwritten thank you notes and dropped them off with the receptionist after my final interview with our president, just because I wanted to leave a lasting impact and have that connection with them that I know a lot of candidates don't usually make. So go above and beyond. Don't be afraid to show up with extra copies of your resume. Those things go a long way.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Kathleen, and in my studio with me is my best friend and best co-host, Rachel. Rachel, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic, but not as good as you after a 6-mile walk, gardening, all the things. But I know we're not here to talk about that, Kathleen.
No, we're not.
We're here to talk about somebody pretty amazing that's in the studio. So without further ado, who's with us today?
Today we are chatting with Amanda Woollard, technical recruiter with Infinity Systems Engineering. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you both so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to have the opportunity to share a little bit about my story as well as all about Infinity.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to have to say it. So let's talk about Infinity and beyond. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with it now. It's out of my system. Here we go. All right, so back to what we're really here to talk about are some great careers. And where we really like to start the conversation is kind of about your career. So if you don't mind giving us the scoop, the 411 on kind of your career path and how did that lead you all the way to Infinity Systems Engineering?
Yeah, absolutely. So my recruiting story actually starts back in college. I was, I believe, a sophomore or junior, and I was looking for a new opportunity and stumbled upon a local company here in Colorado Springs, and they brought me on as a receptionist. And after a little bit of time there, I had been working with the recruiting team on some front desk needs for when they would have onboarding classes and that sort of thing. And after a little bit of time, I was presented the opportunity to make the jump. And that was a really great opportunity, of course, to dip my toes into recruiting. And since then, I've really had a strong passion for it, from nonprofit recruiting within the healthcare space to both in-house staffing and agency staffing. I have a little bit of experience in a lot of areas, but my story for Infinity actually comes from my sales side. I was working as an account executive in Denver, and after commuting back and forth, I was looking for something a little bit closer to home, and I had actually been targeting Infinity as an account executive doing the sales for staffing. And we don't use any external staffing, but they did have a recruiting opportunity. And so I was blessed with the opportunity and have loved it ever since.
That sounds wonderful. Always good to know what you want to do and go after it. So tell us a little bit more about the type of work that Infinity does in the cleared community.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Infinity, we bring deep expertise in mission operations and space systems, which really sets us apart. Whether it's payload integration, space operations, or long-term system sustainment, our team really delivers insights and solutions to make a real difference for our customers and partners.
Awesome. I love it. And space and everything in between. So kind of talking about that everything in between, what are the security cleared roles that you're typically hiring for?
In the name, I'm sure you can guess, Infinity Systems Engineering. We do a lot of systems staffing, but we also do a lot of staffing for cyber, software opportunities, even program managers, capture managers. We're a smaller organization of only about 300 employees. So there is often opportunities across the whole organization, whether that's here at corporate in Colorado Springs or if that's at one of our various programs around the U.S.
Well, I'm going to dig in further on that because I like where you were going, Amanda. You were telling a good story. So I know you are located in beautiful Colorado Springs, but it sounds like that whole buffet of opportunities that might exist for our friends out there where are they located? So you mentioned some of the other positions. So Colorado Springs, where else could our friends look to kind of plant roots?
Yeah, absolutely. So Infinity has programs all over the world, actually, in the United Kingdom, Germany, as well as Marshall Islands. But as far as local United States opportunities go, you can look for us in Alaska, California, Florida, Guam, Hawaii, Maine, Massachusetts, New Mexico, even North Dakota, Texas, Virginia, primarily anywhere that has a large military presence.
Humidity, dry.
And that too.
They've got it all, Kathleen. Anywhere you want to go.
Beer, hot chocolate, it sounds like you're going to have a little bit of everything all over the place. So,
absolutely.
And it sounds like a lot of the positions are on site. So correct me if I'm wrong. Are you got some remote positions or are they all on site?
Yeah, the majority of our positions are going to be on site just due to clearance requirements. But we do offer relocation assistance for a lot of those opportunities. So if we have some military members that are either looking to get closer to home, wherever that may be, or relocate to maybe a place that they haven't been able to visit yet, we'd be happy to support them in getting there to support one of these programs as well.
So you mentioned the security clearance, obviously working in the cleared community, but I understand the majority of your jobs just require a secret, or what are the various different levels of clearances you're looking for?
That is correct. And it all depends on which program the position is for. So, for example, we have a program in Virginia that does require a CI poly full scope, but we have, a lot of opportunities here in Colorado Springs that only require a secret. If for some reason there is a TS requirement, oftentimes we're able to support that for an employee, but usually I would say secret, top secret, and then the occasional TSS CI or CI poly requirement.
So I just want to clarify something you just said. If someone has a secret and you need them for a top secret, can you upgrade them?
Occasionally, depending on the program and the time, it really is dependent on when we need that employee to start, because of course that can sometimes take some time depending on the background investigation. Usually get that done quickly, but it has a couple of factors. Yes.
It's not always as easy as it looks, but I know you do everything possible to make it as easy breezy as it could possibly be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything we can do to help facilitate our transitioning military members or our employees and getting a new opportunity. That's one of our big missions at Infinity, is to match people with their legacies for the betterment of the world. So anything that we can do to help, we're more than happy to do so.
Love it. So it sounds like you have a helpful culture, but I know you are the expert on your culture there at Infinity. So do you mind telling us a little bit more about what the culture looks like? That's such an important part when people are really looking for their next career. They want to know what it feels like, what it's going to be like for them. So how would you describe the culture? And if you had to tell me what a day in the life would look like, how would you tell me about that?
That's kind of why Infinity was founded 29 years ago. Our owner and founder, Andreas Wilfong, he started Infinity because he was actually a GPS engineer out at Schriever Space Force Base in Colorado Springs, and often felt like he was often forgotten or just wasn't as big of a priority for his employer as he felt that he should be or would like to have been. So he said, why not create a company that will make my employees feel the way that I want to feel? So after 29 years, we still have that same mentality. So we have an excellent array of benefits for our employees, from a 401k contribution of 6% without a need for match. We do 100% of medical and dental premium coverage for our employees and their families included. And if for some reason, since we do have a high number of veterans within our employee percentage or group rather, we'll actually pay you back that money if you take advantage of your TRICARE instead. So that way you're able to apply those funds to either a vacation or a personal family project or whatever that may be for you. We also have educational reimbursements and relocation assistance to help support our military members to get back to, again, where home may be, or however we can really just best support them, whether that also be a SkillBridge internship or Hire Our Heroes. We're very active in that community as well.
So you've mentioned several times being a veteran-owned company, being supportive of the military community, and you're right there in the middle of a very strong military community in Colorado Springs. So I'm guessing you're involved in SkillBridge, and you did just mention it a little bit. So tell us a little bit more about your involvement with SkillBridge.
Absolutely. So we love our SkillBridge interns. We absolutely try and prioritize them when it comes to staffing for new opportunities, and also prioritize when we do bring on a SkillBridge intern, the idea or the planning aspect for them to join our team full time. We always envision them being a full time member, and it's almost like a trial for them just to make sure that they love Infinity and that they'll want to stay with us as well. But yes, we have also participation in Hire Our Heroes. So that way we can support them in gaining either additional industry experience or applying the skills that they may already have.
Awesome. So we like to provide, sort of like best tips for our audience members. And from your perspective, when is the best time for someone who is preparing their transition? When is the best time for them to get in touch with you about a SkillBridge internship? Because we understand that while a lot of people may know of the program, the mechanics behind it sometimes is not very clear to people.
I would say as soon as possible. The more that you can get into the community and make connections, whether it be with recruiters, local organizations that can support them in gaining technical certifications if they're looking to go the technical route, or even if they're looking to go maybe the planning route and gaining a program management certification of a sort. I think those are really great opportunities as well because they have excellent contacts within the communities as well. So it's not always what you know, sometimes it's who you know, as I like to say. So definitely don't be scared to get out into the community, make the connections, and you'll be surprised what that in itself will do to help get you either a position or find a company that'll be able to supply, what you're looking for, whether it be experience or a good full-time position after.
Great advice. I'm going to kind of ride on that train a little bit longer on some of that great advice and great tips that are out there. So it's not often we get to talk to such incredible technical recruiters out there. And so I'm just going to shoot my shot. Hope you're okay with that, Miss Amanda, but would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions on maybe some really good just job search tips for our cleared professionals out there. Give them a peek behind the curtain. Tell them what they need to know.
Absolutely. Focus on keywords. I would always start with that, even in my own personal job searches in college. If you know that you want to do planning and you know that you have experience in a technical software, maybe combine the two words, pop them into Google, and then you can carry over those same ideas when you're writing your resume. Being specific within your resume with your experience, but when you go to do your search, pop in a couple main terms and see what really pops from there.
So, speaking of tips, there's a lot of discussion on out there about using AI to establish your resume. So, what are your thoughts on using AI to create your cleared resume? And what are some of the things that job seekers should be aware of?
AI is one of those things that we're not going to be able to get away from. It's becoming the latest and greatest. It's very heavily used within the recruiting field nowadays, even if it comes to resume reviews within certain companies. Infinity doesn't necessarily do that, but I have been hearing that that is a growing common trend within the recruiters just to weed through the resumes. So that's when it becomes really important to make sure that even if you use ChatGPT to create a resume, make sure you take some time to go through, make some changes, add some of your own personality into it. And also, even regardless of ChatGPT, if you have that keyword listed in a technical skills section, the recruiter and the hiring manager are going to want to see exactly how you use that skill and where and when, so that way they know how much experience you have with it and in what ways you have experience with it. So the more experience and explanation that you can add into your resume, the better. Don't be afraid to make it longer than a page. I remember in college they harped on the one page, but if you have excellent relevant experience to share, I would definitely include it and be as thorough as you can be. But yes, ChatGPT is a great tool. Don't be afraid to use it and don't overuse it. But proofread is definitely, I would recommend it.
I like how you said don't overuse it.
Think of it like the salt on your resume, right? Like you need it to, might add a little flavor to it, but too much makes it salty and nobody wants to look at that. So
Couldn't agree more. Yes.
Well, I have some follow-up questions
Absolutely.
that I'm going to ask you. So, What are your thoughts on follow-up after an interview or thank you notes after an interview? How do you recommend that job seekers do that? And does a thank you note make an impact?
Oh, absolutely. I think without a doubt, actually, in my interview for Infinity, I wrote handwritten thank you notes and dropped them off with the receptionist after my final interview with our president, just because I wanted to leave a lasting impact and have that connection with them that I know a lot of candidates don't usually make. So go above and beyond. Don't be afraid to show up with extra copies of your resume or even stop for coffee or donuts for the team. Those things go a long way, but even a thank you note that hardly costs anything, even an email's free.
And I would take it that you use various different job boards for your searching. And I'm just wondering from a recruiter's side, what do you see job seekers do as best practices or mistakes on sort of their profile or how they present themselves?
I think it comes down to a couple of things. Describing your experience, again, being thorough. If someone's a little vague on their profile, if I'm sourcing for a specific position, I'm more likely to reach out to the person that has all of the experience. I still might reach out to the person that might not have it listed on their resume, but recruiters only have so much time to fill a high demand position. So if you want to make sure maybe just to get a little additional attention or time from those recruiters when they are sourcing, definitely just be thorough on your profiles, upload a personal resume, add in your contact information. I see that a lot of profiles don't, but I think even those few things help a lot.
So how can our listeners get in touch with you, Miss Amanda?
Absolutely. You're more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn and send me your resume if you'd like any tips or tricks or advice on that. I'm more than happy to be of assistance there. And then if you're interested in joining the team here at Infinity, you're more than welcome to go onto infinity.aero. And then from there, you can jump onto our careers page, and we'll have a couple different options from our SkillBridge application, our traditional everyday careers page, and then we'll also have a talent community for interested employees to join, so that way they can be alerted whenever I post a new position on our website.
Well, wonderful. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today and letting us know all about Infinity.
Thank you both so much for having me. It was great meeting you, and I look forward to speaking with anyone that might be interested in joining the team.
Thanks so much, Amanda.
So it was really great chatting with Amanda from Infinity Systems Engineering. I really liked her point about the thank you note because it really does make a lasting impression if you take that extra time to do the thank you note. How about you, Rachel? What did you appreciate?
Well, I appreciate a lot from Amanda, but I did appreciate, I have to say, that I got to say to infinity and beyond.
That was cool. That
That brought me joy. But what also brought me joy was just some of the great tips that Amanda was able to share, especially when we kind of dipped our toes into AI and the importance of using it, but using it sparingly and using it wisely. You want to be authentic, but you want to be accurate. And it's making the tool work for you and not having the tool work you or your resume over. And I thought that was really, really great advice. So friends, if you want more great advice, make sure that you always are listening to the end of the show because you just never know what Kathleen and I are going to say. So make sure that you get out there and follow, hit the button, and until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So yes, I did 6 miles today. Oh.
I mean, and you lived to tell about it, and you look fantastic. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know if you rolled in the dirt or what, but you are glowing. So you must have glowy dirt, and I'm going to ask you to bottle it up and ship it.
I rubbed the mud, and I got the worms in my hands and everything. Yeah.
Your own little spa.
Yes, and then I'll just go take a nap for the rest of the day.
I mean, you kind of earned it. 6 miles. Like, I feel like you earned the dang thing. So, and then,
I still
all the
have
arm
to send
work.
you this week's exercises. I forgot.
Well, I actually feel exhausted listening to your 6 miles. Does that count? Does that count?